Is Dave Polsky tackling some deep philosophical question about what constitutes the self? Maybe Troubleshoes' self inherently understood that he was supposed to be a clown, entertaining through bumbling, but his consciousness didn't accept that eventuality, so the dissonance between his ego trying to place him on a path that would fulfill his destiny, and his superego trying to fulfill the destiny that he had conjured for himself out of what he perceived as normal through the trappings of the society that he was brought up in, broke him to such a degree that for his entire life he interpreted his basic instinct to entertain through blunder as bad luck, and subconsciously influenced his surroundings to punish himself for not having the talents to follow through on the future that he dreamed up for himself as a child. Is this a tragic figure of Shakespearean proportions?
I'm the fresh casualty of an unusually unfortunate circumstance. My lot in life, I suppose.
His talent lies in the art of the pratfall.
But my cutie mark's an upside-down horseshoe.
After he lands on his back, his horseshoe is facing the right way up. His lifelong arc is resolved by embracing his propensity for bad luck. And it's an appropriate reincorporation of the lesson learned in Bloom and Gloom.
If you cannot accept who you are, your life might seem like a bad dream.
Now, if only there was a word that meant that. Interestingly enough, Dave Polsky is the reason that Sweetie Belle is almost my favorite pony. Twilight Time and For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils sort of painted her as a badass who doesn't take shit, and that seemed like a logical step up from the extroverted master manipulator that we've seen in Hearts and Hooves Day and Sleepless in Ponyville. My point being that Applebloom has too many lines in this episode. Lines that, based on how Dave Polsky has previously written Sweetie Belle, she should have been saying. Does it ruin the episode? Would the episode have been great if Sweetie Belle had been the one to extend the olive branch to Troubleshoes instead of Applebloom? Yes, probably. Most of Dave Polsky's episodes suffer from having a perfectly set up, plausible solution to the problem, and then deftly fucking it up by doing something stupid. Now, the 5 episodes he wrote in Season 4 were free of that problem, so I thought he'd bucked that particular trend, if you'll pardon the horse pun. But here it is again. In this, my favorite scene where Sweetie Belle is stealing these keys, being immediately undercut by Applebloom distracting the sheriff by telling him that the event had started. Speaking of which, how do you win this event by less than the height of an entire bale? How can this event be considered competitive if the bales aren't all the same size? This does make me look back on all his previous episodes and think that instead of being awful at writing resolutions, he's just doing this on purpose because he enjoys pissing off all the people who pay way too much attention to this show, so he's less of a bad writer and more of an epic troll.